Day weekend coming up.
Miguel, thanks very much for that. The city of Augusta in the process of establishing a new contract with Gold Cross.
This week, commissioners voted to draft a new contract and override the current agreement that they have. News 12's Kennedy Harris breaks down what city leaders want out of this new agreement.
Commissioners voted to throw out this current MOU agreement with Gold Cross to create a new one. But this time, it won't be 3 pages. It'll be a full contract with accountability measures in place. You're probably wondering, what's the difference between an MOU and a contract? Well, commissioners who voted in favor say the MOU agreement just didn't have enough teeth. It does have a few service requirements Gold Cross must follow, but there's no measures to make sure they're actually meeting those requirements. The new contract will include a required number of ambulances that must be in the county at all times, daily reporting of response times over 30 minutes or so, and GPS trackers on all units. These are some of the things discussed in the EMS subcommittee meetings that took place last year. The contract will also provide Gold Cross with more money from the city to help them overcome pandemic-related obstacles like supply costs. Leaders hope it'll begin to mend the city's adverse relationship with the EMS provider.
Without that, though, with this MOU, we don't have reporting happening on a regular basis. We don't know how many ambulances that we have that's covering Augusta Richland County. That is totally unacceptable.
So what does this mean for you? Will it actually help improve services? I'll have that story tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock. Reporting in Augusta, Kennedy Harris on your side.
Thanks for that, Kennedy. The U.S. Coast Guard looking for a missing plane that crashed off the coast of Wassaw Island near Savannah. We're also learning the owner of that plane who went missing is Ed Farr from Barnwell. The plane was scheduled to land in Barnwell around 9 o'clock this morning, but it never arrived. A Coast Guard boat crew, helicopter, and some Good Samaritans have been out searching the water all day today. Officials say the National Transportation Safety Board will lead the investigation into this crash. This weekend will mark what would have been Ahmaud Arbery's 28th birthday. Instead, he was killed 2 years ago while jogging in a Brunswick neighborhood.
Those involved in the marches and protests following Arbery's death still feel like it happened yesterday. The difference this year is that Arbery's convicted killers are now serving life sentences. And Brunswick is not the only community remembering Ahmaud. People in Savannah, Waynesboro, and across the country are remembering him as well. One of the ways they do that is with the Run for Maud movement.
You also have to remember why he was running. Just take that job. Don't take a break. Don't drink no water. Just take that job. And when you take that job, remember why you run for Maud.
Ahmaud Arbery has local ties as well through family in Waynesboro, where he is buried.
The district attorney who originally handled the case involving Arbery's death facing charges for violating her oath of office and obstruction of justice. A new legal filing alleges Jackie Johnson and Greg McMichael spoke on the phone 16 times before he was arrested. McMichael worked for the former DA and has been since convicted of murder in Arbery's death. Johnson's attorney says there is no evidence she hindered the investigation. If convicted, she could face up to 6 years behind bars. Back here at home, a new statement from the city on the failed XPR Augusta concert series. This is from the Augusta Economic Development Authority. It reads, in part, quoting here, "It is our understanding that many refunds have already been processed in the order that the concerts were announced, and we have been advised by the company that refunds continue to be processed as quickly as possible." The concert series was supposed to take place during Masters Week at Lake Olmsted Stadium. We've seen a week full of protest over abortion rights in response to the potential overturn of Roe v. Wade.
Natalie Brand on Capitol Hill today with more on how states are stepping up work on their own abortion-related bills.
Senators are heading home for the weekend to hear from constituents ahead of a planned vote next week, making abortion rights legal nationwide.
In a pregnancy, I don't believe that it is the state that should intervene with its heavy hand and make the decision.
If Roe versus Wade is struck down by the Supreme Court, abortion rights will be decided by individual states.
I think those decisions should be made by the elected representatives of the people back in the various states, and I think that's the correct answer.
Republicans remain opposed to the Democratic bill, and that includes moderate Senator Susan Collins of Maine, who says she'll vote against it.
Senator Collins and Alaska Republican Lisa Murkowski have proposed a more narrow bill to codify Roe, but keep protections for health providers who oppose abortion on religious grounds.
We are not looking to compromise something as vital as this.
States and legal experts are already anticipating what could be the next wave of legal battles.
I think it brings up a lot of new questions. For instance, there are states that are trying to say, not only can we ban abortions within our state, but we're going to try to ban our residents from traveling into another state.
Citing Supreme Court Justice Alito's draft opinion on Roe v. Wade, Republican state lawmakers in Louisiana advanced a bill through a House committee to criminalize abortion, classifying it as a homicide. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
The Louisiana bill, which classifies life as beginning at fertilization, still has to be voted on in the full legislature.
An Edgefield County woman facing 7 years in prison, according to the 11th Circuit Solicitor's Office. Jennifer Kennedy pleading guilty to possession of meth with intent to distribute. She was arrested after an investigation into multiple overdoses last year that found that she might have been the source of those drugs. The FDA says it's putting strict limits on the J&J COVID vaccine. Officials say emergency use authorization of that vaccine is suggested for people 18 and older who cannot get a different vaccine. Adults also have to request the J&J vaccine specifically. The FDA says that's due to a risk of a rare and dangerous clotting condition. For months, federal authorities have recommended Americans use either the Pfizer or Moderna COVID vaccine.
Fresh off a national championship appearance, the Augusta University men's basketball team is looking towards the future. Nick Proto is here with a look at the Jags' latest signing.
The Jags will be returning most, if not all, of the roster that went to the Division II national title this year, but they're getting a little boost in the backcourt, signing Chris Britt from Gastonia, North Carolina. Britt stands at just 5'7", but that hasn't stopped him from being a difference maker on the court. He scored more than 1,000 points in high school at Gaston Day School. He was also named an All-State player twice and helped lead Gaston Day to a 27-3 record and a state semifinal appearance this past year. He joins the backcourt of Tyree Myers and Miguel Arnold, given both those guys come back. AU finished last year 33-4, and as we said, made it to the national championship for the first time since 2008. In other basketball signing news, big congrats to Hayden Brown for signing to play basketball at Columbia International University in South Carolina. Brown's been playing varsity basketball at Victory Christian School in North Augusta since he was a 7th grader.
Still to come, we're going to check in with local markets as they get ready for the harvest season and the big Peach Blossom Festival rolling around tomorrow.
And we are still tracking showers and storms across the CSRA. Some of the most intense rainfall and also hail right now in Saluda County. We'll take a closer look at that coming up next.
Miguel, thanks for that. It's almost that time of year again when Georgia lives up to its name as the Peach State, but these are some of the orchards that were in bloom earlier this year in Edgefield County.
They are absolutely beautiful. Our Sloan Cone gives us a look at a local farmer's market where it's about more than just peaches.
Right on the side of US 25, there's a little market that might just catch your eye.
Just a small family, roadside market.
Jackie's Market is entering their 3rd generation of family farming.
For my dad and my grandmother, my dad, myself, and my son, he really enjoys it.
30 years ago, the Robertsons wanted an adventure, and now their journey just keeps getting sweeter.
Good health is hard, and when you've got your family that steps up to the plate, they've all been a blessing to us, and I just thank God.
Robbie was 15 when they first opened. Now his 13-year-old son is helping out.
Big family thing that's been going on for a long time.
And they've seen it all, from early blooms and late freezes, crazy storms and weather, to rising inflation and gas prices. A bushel of peaches cost around $80 this year, compared to around $20 when Jackie's first opened, because the world is changing.
We get so busy in the world and what's going on, and farms and stuff like that are just whittling away.
But Jackie's Market is here to stay.
We just like to sit in fellowship and just, like Mama says, we're people. And we love our customers. We love anybody that's passing through that stops in.
Because the Robertsons say first-timers become regulars, and regulars become family. And that's a blessing enough.
I love people, If I said, well, why don't y'all retire? Why don't y'all close down? But, I just can't see life without doing this.
At Jackie's, Sloan Cone on your side.
Well, they say when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Absolutely, and there's nothing better than a roadside stand with that, especially after a harvest like this. Again, both states produce a lot of peaches. Georgia's the beach state. South Carolina, I think, actually produces more peaches.
I know, isn't that funny?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're open 7 days a week now until the end of peach season, unless, of course, the weather is bad.
We're glad to see a harvest after that storm that came through and
Right.
cold weather that we were worried about the peach crop.
Yep.
Looks pretty good out
Yep,
there.
they actually look good.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, our consumer tech reporter has some tips and tricks for making photos like the pros on your cell phone. News 12 First at 5 continues after a short break.
The Live by Camera Network.
Now, more photos are taken on smartphones than any other camera on the market. Some take dozens of photos and videos every single day.
I don't doubt that for a second. While pointing and shooting is easy and fast, there are some hidden tricks only the pros seem to know about. Our consumer tech reporter Jamie Tucker shows us some features you might want to try out.
Most of us never touch the settings in our smartphone camera. We just point and click, and most of the time, that's fine. But these tips and tricks that you've got to try will make your photos and videos look more professional.
On iPhones, photos taken in portrait mode rival those from DSLR cameras. Built-in filters for natural, vivid, warm, and a few others. But to take photos like the pros take, tap the F. This allows you to blur the background like you can do with a professional camera and lens. Use the slider to select how blurry you want the background so the subject stands out. If you have an iPhone XS or newer, you can adjust the blur after you take the photo. And if it's an iPhone 13, you get some of the same tools for video using cinematic mode. Hate taking selfies to see everything reversed? In settings under camera, turn off mirror front camera. Now when you take a selfie, it's not going to be backwards. Everything's going to look like it's supposed to. How many times do you miss recording a video of something amazing because you couldn't get your phone out and open the app in time? On a locked screen, hold down the camera app button. It'll open to take a photo, but then hard press that shutter button to start recording video. There's no need to swipe looking for the video option. If you ever want to get something really tall in your shot, switch to pano mode and then hold the camera horizontal. Watch this. Now move the camera up, before and after. Pretty cool.
If you have an iPhone, Apple holds annual Shot on iPhone photo competitions. You can find that information at apple.com along with some free lessons on how to take better pictures and video. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
We like a lot of those tips, especially that pano tip there. That
Yeah.
was cool. We have all these settings and features posted on our website, wrdw.com. Just look for the What the Tech button.
Yeah, so we expect some pretty nice photos when you start sharing them with us.
Yeah,
from
please
here
do
on out.
share them. And a heads up, if you're planning to be downtown Sunday, several roads are going to be shut down or partially blocked off for yet another bike race. This time it's the USA Cycling Collegiate National Championship. Traffic disrupted between 5 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. Again, this is Sunday, so no parking along parts of Broad Street, Reynolds Street, or James Brown Boulevard, including Jones Street and McCartan Street. Learn more about the race in my next one-on-one Sunday morning here on News 12. Augusta's 5th annual Craft Beer Festival coming up this weekend as well. We stopped by to talk with one of those organizers ahead of tomorrow's event.
We're going to have 34 plus breweries and over 100 different types of beer to sample. It is for adults only, so that's 21 and up. So leave the kids at home. You know, you can go see mom on Sunday, and just Saturday can be for you.
Yeah, please don't forget Mom on Sunday after the Beer Fest. The festival happening tomorrow at SRP Park from 1 until 5. Along with the beer, there's going to be some music, some food, and games in the ballpark. Tickets are cheaper if you buy them before you get there, and designated drivers get a discount. That's a great idea. You can find out more about buying those tickets on the website as well, wrdw.com.
We are still tracking active weather across.
Thanks very much for that, Mikhail. City leaders say they plan to tear down Dogwood Terrace later this year. What people living there need to know. Coming up here on News 12 at 6 o'clock, plus the latest on any storm damage reports we happen to hear about right after this short break.